We're just coming up to one of my favourite weekends of the year, the EGX weekend, where me, Kev, Anna and Pab and Bouncy this year are going to EGX to play lots and lots and lots of games. We're doing a live show, as I've mentioned 100 million times, which we still haven't prepared for, and there's just going to be loads and loads and loads of awesome games to play, and I can't wait. There's always an ongoing kind of half joke, half me getting down on the podcast when I talk about it, because I start getting a bit mardy about the fact that there's certain games I really wanted to see that aren't there, or that whatever. But I do love this weekend. I always enjoy it. I always love it. I like to play up the kind of negativity now and again. That's a joke on the show, but this is one of my favourite weekends of the year. And I was just going through the list because it's been updating all week, and there was a point where I looked at it and thought, hang on a minute, I only know a couple of games that are there. I'm a bit nervous, and it seems to be the cycle, but the list is basically complete now, bar any surprises when you walk in the door. There's plenty of stuff there that I want to look at. I'm not going to just rattle off a list and kind of go blur at you and that be that. I want it to be a bit more interesting, but one of the big obvious points for me this weekend is going to be Pokemon Let's Go. I'm so excited that I get to see that on the Switch. That is the game that I've been looking forward to all year since it was announced. Whenever it was announced, must have been end of last year. It sounded awesome. It's looked better and better every time I see it. There was some more information released about it yesterday on Twitter, and it just looks great. It looks really, really fun. The whole idea is you can play it like the original Pokemon Red and Blue games, but it links up to Pokemon Go. So if you bring in Pokemon that you've caught out and about on your daily travels, you can send them into the game, catch them in there, and then run around training with them and stuff. It's slightly different. It's slightly more gamified than the old games. It seems like they've revamped it for a new generation. That's perfect for Bosco. Basically, my plan for this weekend is to research how good that is, play as much of it as I can. I'm praying, begging and hoping that there will be Pokemon freebies all over the shop. And if there are, this has the potential to straight off the bat be the best Eurogamer ever. The best EGX ever, should I say, because it's changed its name, hasn't it, years and years ago. They always have some stuff. When there was a Sonic game out, I had a Sonic the Hedgehog hat thing that you could put on and wear. There was Mario hats I bought home last year, Sonic posters, loads of little figurines and stuff over the years that have been throwing about. And I'm thinking this is Nintendo's perfect chance to be chucking Pokemon stuff around left, right and centre. They've got Pokemon Let's Go. They've got Pokemon Ultra Moon there, oddly. That's been out a little while. But generally speaking, it looks like Nintendo have basically brought everything that possibly works on the Switch and the DS, which is a genius idea, because someone like me will love the opportunity to go around and see what I can do with my Switch, games I've not thought about. I was running down the list and I realised, I don't know why it's there as much, but I've not ever actually played the Zelda Breath of the Wild game. I assumed it would make me motion sick, and I assumed that I'm not really keen on Zelda games. So whilst I imagine most people won't go to it, because it's one of the biggest games that was released in the past decade, it's the best selling game they've got. But I haven't touched it, so I might sit there and have a go on it and just spend an hour or so just chilling out with Zelda and seeing what it's like. Because if I like it, that's going straight on the old Christmas list, and that's what this is pretty much about, isn't it? We're building our Christmas list. Even though we're adults, we want to let Santa know what we found at EGX. I was surprised to see that Super Smash Bros. Is going to be the Smash Bros. Ultimate, sorry. I'm stuck in the early noughties there, calling it Super Smash Bros. Smash Bros. Ultimate, the ultimate version of Smash Bros., where basically every character that's ever been in it is going to be in this one. Those games are crack-a-lacking. They're absolutely brilliant, and I can't wait to get that. That's a no-brainer, absolutely getting that as soon as I possibly can. I think my family are going to love the heck out of it. I think they're all going to just think it's mental, because it can be a game of skill. I think what will happen at first is I'll dominate for about an hour, then the kids will start finding their way in it, and Mrs. Sheepdog will start finding her way in it, and then we'll start getting better at it, and then it'll be a big old free-for-all depending on the characters you pick. But that game's so good, and I'm hoping it has a story mode. Not that I'm looking forward to some epic quest. I just really like the story mode of the last one, and it gave some structure to it, some challenges to it, and it's pretty much one of the most perfect games Nintendo work on. It's very, very, very impressive. Aside from Nintendo, it's not just all about them. I'm looking forward to Dreams for the Little Big Planet people. I think that's a good excuse to use my PS4. For me, I mentioned in my video the other day that I don't use my Vita enough, I don't use my PS4 enough. That seems like another cool little game I could play with the kids. It seems like another cool game. The whole Little Big Planet scene was brilliant. I'm hoping for the best with that. DC Supervillains, Lego Supervillains, I think it is. Lego DC Supervillains is another awesome one I'm looking forward to. I mean, Lego games are all kind of the same in that they're Lego games, but they're all very entertaining. They're all very cinematic and good stories. And I enjoyed the Ninjago game. I enjoyed all the Lego DC superhero games. The Lego Marvel ones are top drawer. Like, they really went nuts with the first one. I got the second one. I've not completed the second one, but I played it quite a bit. I could do with a lot of spare time to complete and catch up with all of them. I don't think I could fully complete them. They're all well worth looking at, and I think they're probably worth me looking at for the Switch. Now I've got it. I feel like getting a Switch was one of the best decisions I've made as a gamer. And these are the sorts of games where I feel like they sit quite comfortably on that console. I seem to get away with taking over the TV and putting the Switch on more than I would with the other consoles. So I'm keen to continue that, especially because it's handheld as well. So if someone really wants to watch the telly, I can switch out and put that on. I made my list and I'm looking down it and I'm thinking some of these I wrote down, I'm looking forward to it, but I don't know what to expect. Kingdom Hearts 3 is one that I'm excited about. I played a lot of Kingdom Hearts 2. I don't know whether I'm older now and whether I'll appreciate it as much. I feel like it's a really risky gambit bringing out that game so much after the first two, because I played a bit of 1 and liked it, got 2 because it was the new one, but 3, I can't remember 1 and 2 so much now. I just know that it was Mickey Mouse is king of this like magic world, and for some reason there's loads of Final Fantasy characters dotted about, and it's like Disney meets Final Fantasy, which is right up my street. They're basically, if you threw some Pokemon in there, they'd be the staples of my mature gamer, and vlog videos. Everything that they're the main themes I've talked about. If you looked at my suggested tags, there'd probably be those things. Wolfenstein 2 is there, which I didn't even realise that was about, and I got the first one with my. So when that came out on release, so I really enjoyed it, and I'm sure that's been out a while. I feel like I should have looked this up before I said it. I feel like there was a Wolfenstein game out recently, and Anna was talking about it and playing it, but I haven't played it, so I'm going to look at it, and that'll be fun. Normally, games that I've not played that I've heard of, I'm like, ugh, stay away. But there's loads on there. I'm like, I wouldn't mind giving that a stab just to see what the story is. One thing that I'm not sure about, and I mean I've gone through the list of all the different indies that are on there, and it's like I never get into reading them, because the ones where I think this is going to be amazing, and then I go out of my way to find it, and it's a lot of effort to go and find them. It's such a big place, and then when you get there and it's not what you thought, you feel really guilty because you made a big deal about wanting to play on it, and then you feel like you have to say positive things because it's a big deal about someone's life. So I like going into that bit completely blind. Now, there is one that it's not, I don't know who makes it, I should have checked, Untitled Goose Game. I feel like that's just a really catchy name that people have latched onto, and I'm pondering how that's going to be, because if it's just like Goat Simulator and it's a bit of a passing fad, then good for them, they'll make a few quid and jobs are good, but part of me is hoping there's more to it than that, because it seems to have gained a lot of momentum for basically a funny name. I will wander around though the indie bit, because I like it when something just catches my eye and I think, oh, I'll give that a little go. I get a bit nervous. I was talking to some people a couple of years back where they were telling me that they were 20 grand away from their Kickstarter target, and I said, right, I want you to make this game. So I stood there in front of them and I donated 20 quid towards it. I wasn't very well off, so I was kind of, this is a lot of money for me, I want you to make it. They did not make it, they failed, and I felt really bad for them. I was tweeting about it. I kept getting notifications about it. They had a very, very rough ride. That's a game called Poncho. It did get made with Nintendo in the end, or it's being made, or it kind of went a bit, I'm not going to get into it. If you look up the history of that game, it all got a bit mad, but it's interesting following it, because I think it's just something that stresses me out if it gets too serious. I like catching onto something a bit random and a bit great, but I also just walk around feeling really like I've got to shield, I've got to be poker faced, because if I don't like something, every other game, if I walk into the Call of Duty or the Assassin's Creed line by mistake somehow because I've got lost, if I ended up playing that, I'd be like, oh, I don't like this, and I can get away with that. But I feel like you're a monster if you do that at the indie one. So I do get too self-conscious, even though it is okay not to like things. I think that's it for my list. There are millions. I thought if I sit here going through this all night, I'm not going to get a video out. But the weekend is just perfect because it's not just about the fact that we play loads of games and we get to see games early. It's about the fact that at work all week I get to say that I'm going because I'm press. It's the one of the few times a year I can get away with saying I have a press pass to an official gaming event, and everyone's like, really? Whoa, what do you got that? And that's quite fun. I get to then go to it and spend a weekend with Kev, Anna and Pab and Bouncy, which is always great. We stay in a hotel, which means I get a lie-in. I get to go out drinking and eating lots and lots of meat, which is great fun. But also just being at a place where everyone there is a bit geeky and just wandering around. And this weekend especially is going to be good because there's a Pokemon Go community day on a Saturday. We're doing our show on the Sunday. There'll be loads of Kev's followers there, and hopefully people who watch my videos will be there and they'll say hello. So I get to see some of you lot. I get to see loads of listeners to the podcast, which I don't see that often, so that'll be awesome. And yeah, it's just a chance to get about. It's going to be fantastic. I'm well excited. I don't really do it that often, and most people go out to the pub once a week or whatever, but we seem to just save it all up for big weekends every now and again. So yeah, I am well excited. I don't know why I've not roped more people into coming to this. I feel like I know so many people off the top of my head that would love this weekend, and I was saying to Kevin Pab earlier in the week that it'll only be 2-3 years before Bosco will insist on coming and Lampup will insist on coming, and it'll have to become a slightly more family focused one. But I'm excited about that. I think that's a good thing. I was warning them because I wasn't sure how they'd feel about it, but I'm excited about the thought that it become another Comic-Con type thing for our annual roster. But yeah, if you're going, let me know in the comments, or if you think there's a game I should really look out for, especially if it's an indie game. Let me know. Let me know if there's anything I've missed off that's massive and that I should look at. It's going to be great. I need to remember to buy some hand sanitizer so that I don't catch a cold. That is probably the biggest problem. But I'm really hoping there'll be a good amount of like posters and pictures and swag and stuff to get the kids, because they love that. And I feel really good being able to bring all this stuff home, and I just really hope we have a good time. It'll be really cool. And I'm going to obviously film while I'm there. I'll do some filming around. I'll do some talking at the camera. I imagine Kev will be doing all the main stuff, so I don't really want to emulate him because it feels a little bit redundant if he does this amazing cinematic thing and I'm there with my little mobile. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment. Let me know if you're going to be there, and I'll see you either on tomorrow's video or at the weekend in person. Cheers.